Good morning, everyone. This is our next video on life processes. Okay, so as we were studying nutrition in our previous classes, so it is the continuation of nutrition in human beings. Okay, today in this video, you will learn the process of nutrition in human beings, the various organs involved in nutrition and the glands associated with this. Please watch it carefully and learn from it and get ready with your doubts in tomorrow online class. What is nutrition in human beings? Actually, nutrition in human beings takes place through human digestive system. Okay. Now, system associated with nutrition in case of humans is, remember, digestive system. Now, what does this digestive system consist of? It consists of alimentary canal and its associated glands. Okay. So, what are the various organs in human digestive system? If we write in sequence, they are mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. And when we talk about glands associated with human digestive system, they are salivary glands, liver, and pancreas mainly. After this, here again alimentary canal is shown in a flow chart. You can see that when the food enters mouth, then it goes into esophagus, and after that it passes to stomach, and from stomach it is digested in small intestine, and after that it goes to large intestine. Now you can see here a box. It is also given in your book on figure 6.6 on page number 97. You can see here clearly that mouth contains a salivary gland and which secretes enzyme salivary amylase. What is the function of that? It converts starch into sugar. Now what is the starch? As we have studied previously, that starch is a stored form of carbohydrates in plants. So when we consume plants, we are consuming starch with it. So starch is converted into simple sugar by salivary amylase in our mouth. Then when the food enters stomach, gastric glands are present there and gastric glands secrete gastric juices, which consist of hydrochloric acid, pepsin and mucus. Hydrochloric acid kills harmful bacteria that enters with the food. And it also makes the medium alkaline for the action of pepsin. So these are the two major functions of hydrochloric acid. Remember them always. Second, gastric juice consists of pepsin, which helps in digestion of proteins. And third one is mucus that protect the inner lining of the stomach from the corrosive action of hydrochloric acid. Then small intestine consists of two glands mainly, liver and pancreas. And liver secrete bile juice, which make the medium acidic for the action of pancreatic enzymes. And secondly, it breaks down a large fat molecules into smaller globules so that enzyme can act upon them. When we talk about pancreas, they secrete pancreatic juice, which consists of amylase, trypsin, and lipase. Now, amylase convert carbohydrates to glucose, and trypsin convert protein to amino acids, whereas lipase convert fats into fatty acids and glycerol. Here, steps of digestion are picturized. You can see that the first step is ingestion, that is intake of food material into simple ones. After that, body begins the process of digestion, that is breakdown of complex food into simple absorbable forms. And when it is converted, then there is absorption, in which digested food is moved to the blood. Okay. Then it is assimilated, means assimilation is done. Food products are utilized by the body cells, and after that there is last processes of egestion, in which waste particles or waste substances are removed from the body. So these are the major steps of digestion. Here is a video, you have to watch it carefully.
Nutrition in human beings. Food enters our body through mouth and travels through a long canal which ends at anus. This canal is called alimentary canal. In the mouth, the food is ground to a paste by teeth and saliva. Saliva is a watery fluid not only makes the food soft and wet, it also has an enzyme called salivary amylase which partially digests the sugars. Now, the food has to reach the stomach through a pipe called esophagus. The muscles of the esophagus contract rhythmically to move the food through it into the stomach. Stomach is a large muscular hollow organ in which the food is thoroughly mixed with more digestive juices secreted by gastric glands present in the walls of the stomach. These juices include 1. Pepsin, a protein digesting enzyme. 2. Hydrochloric acid, to provide acidic medium for the proper action of pepsin. And 3. Mucus, to prevent the damage of stomach wall by the action of HCl. At the end of the stomach, a sphincter muscle slowly releases the food into the small intestine, the longest part of the alimentary canal, which is highly coiled to get accommodated in small space. It receives pancreatic juice from the pancreas, intestinal juices from the glands in the intestines, and bile juice from the liver. Pancreatic juice and intestinal juices contain enzymes like trypsin, lipase, pancreatic amylase, peptidases, and nucleases. Bile does two things. 1. It breaks the fats into smaller droplets, providing more surface area for the quick action of enzymes. 2. Bile makes the intestinal pH to alkaline, so by that the digestion of fats and carbohydrates is facilitated. These enzymes finally make the carbohydrates to sugars, proteins to amino acids, and fats to fatty acids and glycerol. The inner lining of the small intestine has finger-like projections called villi, where the nutrients derived in digestion are absorbed into the bloodstream. The unabsorbed food is sent into a large intestine where water is absorbed and the rest is excreted out through anus.
So you all see how the process of digestion occurs in our body, and I hope the concept is clear to everyone now. Still, if there is any doubt, then I will clear you again in our next class. Okay, in this picture you can see that ingestion is there in through mouth, and after that digestion occurs, and for complex food is broken down into simpler one, and you can see here the nutrients are absorbed by the bloodstream and waste products are eliminated out through the anus, that is processes egestion or defecation. And in between there is secretion also, as salivary glands, pancreas, gallbladder, liver, all the accessory digestive organs are secreting simultaneously during the digestion process, and before absorption these secretions are also added into the food. Here is again a picture of digestive system. You can see that a small amount of lipid digestion occur in the stomach due to the gastric lipase produced in the stomach, and bile is produced in liver, so it is stored in gallbladder, and when it is released into small intestine it helps in the digestion and absorption of lipids. Then third, the enzyme pancreatic lipase is produced by the pancreas and released into the small intestine to break down triglycerides into monoglycerides, fatty acids and glycerol. All those lipids or fats consist of triglyceride, monoglyceride, and that is broken down by with the help of enzyme lipase. Fourth, you can see that in the small intestine, the products from fat form a micelle. Micelle move towards the microvilli to allow the lipids to diffuse into the mucosal cells. Then inside the mucosal cell, the fatty acids and monoglycerides are reassembled into triglycerides and incorporated into lipid and lipid transport particles called chylomicrons, which enter the lymph vessel. Then small intestine is very efficient in absorbing fat, so very little is normally excreted in the fecus. Here you see how the nutrition in human being takes place with the help of various secretions of digestive system. Now we will learn the difference between excretion and secretion. So excretion is removal of material from a living being, whereas secretion is movement of material from one point to other point. Okay, and excretion is a passive in nature and secretion is active in nature. Human excrete materials such as tears, urine, carbon dioxide, and sweat, whereas human secretions include enzymes, hormones, and saliva. Excretion is mostly body waste, while secretion is important material that can be metabolized and used by our body. Plants excrete through roots into its surroundings and falling off leaves and bark, whereas secretion occur in plant body in the form of latex, resins, gums, etc. At last, this is a summary of digestion in human alimentary canal. You can see here that what is the secretion of mouth, saliva, and saliva is made in salivary glands, and the enzyme secreted by it is amylase, and it acts upon starch to yield maltose. Okay, and in esophagus there is no secretion. It only helps in transportation of food from mouth to stomach, so there are regular contractions and relaxations for transfer of food, and no secretion is there in esophagus. Esophagus is also known as food pipe. Okay, then in stomach, gastric juice is secreted in pits or in walls of stomach, and it contains enzyme pepsin, which help in digestion of proteins into polypeptides. And apart from pepsin, there is hydrochloric acid also in this juice. And acidic hydrochloric acid function is to give acid environment for pepsin and kill bacteria in the food. Then duodenum secrete two juices, pancreatic juice and bile. Pancreatic juice is made in pancreas, whereas bile is made in liver and stored in gallbladder. Then pancreatic juice consists of amylase, trypsin and lipase. Amylase acts on starch to break it down into maltose. Trypsin acts on proteins to break it into polypeptides. Lipase acts on fats to break them into fatty acids and cholesterol. Sodium hydrogen carbonate is also present in pancreatic juice, which reduces acidity of chyme. Chyme or chyme is a food which is present in the small intestine. Okay, after stomach, it goes into small intestine, and then it is not a food, it is a chyme or chyme. In case of bile, there is no enzyme secretion. It consists of only bile salts and bile pigments. Bile salts helps in emulsification of fats, that is breaking fats into monoglycerides and diglycerides. Apart from that, it also consists of bile pigments whose function is to remove excretory products. Ileum contain no juice. Enzymes remain in or on the cells covering the villi. And ileum secretions are made in the cells covering the villi. Enzymes in juice are maltase, which converts maltose into glucose, sucrase, which converts sucrose into glucose and fructose, lactase, which convert lactose into glucose and galactose, and peptidase, which convert polypeptides into amino acids, lipase, which convert fats into fatty acids and glycerol. That's all for nutrition in human beings. Thanks for watching. Stay home, stay safe, keep learning, keep studying. Okay. Thanks again, students.